Live from Liquid Studio Group, it's 3 Men and a Mic with your host, Joe Barron, Gene Belmontes, and the Honorable Javier Montemayor, our closer. 3 minds, 1 mic, 0 filter. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. 3 Men and a Mic starts now.
Welcome back to 3 Men and a Mic. Your host, Joe Barron, Javier Montemayor, and Gene Belmontes. What a week. Big UFC fight at the White House. You guys,
mockery, man. You made a mockery of the White House, man.
Come on.
Didn't Joe Rogan.
Didn't you guys have trannies or something a couple years back with Biden there with the colored columns and all that other good stuff? Come on now. It was a great show. If any of you saw any of the
mockery of the White House, man.
Flyover, it was presidential in my opinion.
But the good thing about it, they removed Trump from the Kennedy Center.
Get a small win there.
That's a positive thing, man.
That's a small win for
now. What did the guy say? Michelle Obama was the man? Come on, man. You can't be praying and then throw something like that after that.
I mean, they say Trump's a pedo, and they have no proof of that either. So I mean,
no, well, this was proof. You saw it.
Proof that Michelle's a man?
No, proof that he said it. After
prayer. That you said there was proof that Michelle was a man.
No, I think the biggest thing I think was that the Spurs lost.
Man, that was
we
awful.
have to go.
The 30-point lead in the third quarter, and you blow that. And some rookie mistakes.
Every game they had to lead.
They did.
Every game.
Did they fire the coach?
Oh, heck no. We're not going to fire the coach. He's a young cat. He's got a young team, and you got to give him some credit. I mean, they got there when no one expected they would be there, so that's a big plus. New York just wanted it more. They played better. They played smarter. Those 2 last games that they could have won, that they didn't. The rookies made some mistakes.
Experience.
Wemby getting an egg thrown at him.
Yeah, the Knicks fans. Those guys showed their colors out there fighting all the Spurs fans that were in New York, and then of course, I think San Antonio returned the favor to a couple of them. I saw some reports that there were some fights in San Antonio coming outside of the hotel. Again, we're the topic today being youth sports. Yeah. These are some of their role models, and what did they see? They saw, the ugly side of sports in that. But what else happened in the week? We've got big arguments in Laredo over flock cameras. That's a big argument that was at City Council. The bridge rates are going to go up for our logistics and transportation partners. They're going to see higher bridge fees. That was voted on Monday night.
Appraisal values are going up, so we're going to pay more taxes now.
Yeah.
So, all sorts of positive stuff going around.
How does that affect the schools? I know, because right now we're still in the big debate about, school closures and school finances. You're not allowed to raise your taxes beyond a certain point, or
Correct.
your revenues beyond a certain point. 3%?
Yeah, we don't raise our taxes beyond a certain point, but revenues increase in valuations increases income into the school district as well.
And when that happens, though, if you go beyond 3% increase, then you must lower your tax rate.
Correct. And we did lower the tax rate this past year.
I mean, again, I go back to the argument we had several shows ago where I get what the governor wants to do in reducing your homestead property taxes to the point where you finally get to own your home and you're not paying some form of a tax, which is almost the equivalent of the same payment you had when you bought the house 30 years ago. I get that part, but it has really put a crunch on not just schools. The cities are under the same guidelines.
Yeah.
So 3% max, and then they've got to lower their tax rate. The county's going to be under the same boat. So
right now, the Trump administration just announced that they're going to be taking away the special ed departments or area from school districts and giving it to the Department of
Education.
No, taking it away from the Department of Education and giving it to the state Department of Human Services.
Yep.
Oh, to Health and Human Services.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, if it's a consolidation of services, I get it. I mean, it's like us wanting to consolidate our tax collection. I mean, I think that's a good plan. I know LISD just tried it, and the vote failed. Anytime you can reduce a layer of government and consolidate and streamline it, make it more efficient, I think that makes sense. But when you start cutting the programs directly, that's where I think where we have some issues, right? Where I think we run into those questions of how do we continue to feed our kids, or how do we continue to care for them in those school situations?
They're not cutting the tax rates. What they're trying to do is cut expenses and cost savings. So they're trying to consolidate with another government entity, with the county in this case, to help collect their taxes, and that way they can save on their employees. They can save on their expenses of operating the tax office, and so it's not necessarily they're not consolidating, to join forces and cut overall taxpayer burdens. They're trying to save. Just like we are, we're cutting it.
But does that really create a savings for you all? If you
Because they're absorbing the employees, they wouldn't
right,
fire
that's what I'm
them.
saying. They're not going to lose the employees. I mean, obviously you have building costs and some other administrative costs that go away. But if they're absorbing all of those employees from either school district or either other political subdivision, doesn't that particular office's expenses now go up?
I
Because you have more
think
people?
they said they were going to save something like 400,000.
436,000 is the estimated
So
no
savings.
then,
one loses their job.
If your
In
department
operating.
is what, double the size?
Yeah,
So
potentially we could save
More paper, more.
Yeah.
So maybe you guys would do what, 800, 700, more or less.
I know. I think we have about 14 employees. We don't have a lot. It's comparable, but we have, but you got to look at working together with these other entities. And
How much has technology helped that particular department, for example? I mean, years ago, those things, the printouts and the rolls that were used to collect taxes, now with the advent of technology and computers and now even more AI, the ability to make those collections so much easier, and the distribution of your tax bills.
online payments
Yeah.
is one. I handle the delinquent taxes for Webb County. So you give them access to online payments. You give access to notification, virtual notifications. Delivery of notices. That's where the notification process is more effective, and giving the taxpayer that access to pay online. But other than that, it's really people just sometimes forget, or sometimes they don't have the money. So with the economy the way it is, I think the collections will vary, because sometimes people have to decide: do I pay my rent this month, or do I go and pay taxes? So it's a tough situation. But with technology, all you do is just make it easier for them to make a payment, to make arrangements.
Well, over the years, leading into our hot topic, school districts have gotten further and further away from doing certain things. Cities have gotten further and further away from doing certain things. And one of those was sports. When we were in elementary, my elementary played your elementary, and we usually we traveled to your school campus, you traveled to our campus, we played Mary Help, we played Nye, Clark, and we all kind of went different places. And at some point at the elementary level, the school districts did away with that. They no longer provided that competitive sports amenity in school, and it went only to the middle schools, and it's continued on. We then took advantage of the Boys and Girls Club, then they started the flag football programs and basketball programs, but all of that was born out of a necessity to either reduce expenses because they were using buses and transportation after hours. All those things happened in that time frame. Well, now all of those burdens in this day and age are being shifted back towards the parents. And you're starting to see all the things that we're going to talk about in the hot topic, which is youth sports. And
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we're going to take it in those three segments. We're going to come back in a few minutes and talk about the good in youth sports. What's happening out there that's actually a good thing, especially when you compare it to boomers, Gen X, Gen Zs, right? And those folks who have come after us. So many more opportunities to play and to develop as an athlete. But we'll come back in a few minutes after we hear from our sponsors and our supporters. Okay,
Bobby.
Richard and Bobby, come on in.
Life is full of great moments, special moments, shared with friends, family, and loved ones. But for some, pain deprives us from fully enjoying these moments. If chronic pain is keeping you from fully enjoying life, there is hope. Hi, I'm Dr. Marta Martinez. At Advanced Spine Pain Solutions, we're dedicated to treating our patients with the most advanced and compassionate care possible. Visit us for an evaluation and let our experienced staff help you get back to living a pain-free life.
We have a 9-acre facility, 200,000 square feet of indoor storage, as well as about 4 to 5 acres of outdoor storage. Pricing is subject to change based on your selection of either indoor or outdoor availability.
Life is full of great moments, special moments, shared with friends, family, and loved ones. But for some, pain deprives us from fully enjoying these moments. If chronic pain is keeping you from fully enjoying life, there is hope. Hi, I'm Dr. Marta Martinez. At Advanced Spine Pain Solutions, we're dedicated to treating our patients with the most advanced and compassionate care possible. Visit us for an evaluation and let our experienced staff help you get back to living a pain-free life.
And we're back with a hot topic, youth sports, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And joining us for this discussion, our good friend from UISD, the athletic director, Bobby Cruz, and our good friend from Laredo Pony, Richard Rosas, who's president of Laredo Pony, puts on some spectacular tournaments here in Laredo, one coming up here in July. And we're going to talk about the good thing in sports. We were commenting in the break that when we were in school, us boomers, Gen Xers, after school was over for the summer, if you had a little bit of Little League left over, that was about it. And other than that, it was pickup games, sandlot. We played basketball, football, whatever. We could find a swimming pool, anything we could find to keep ourselves physically fit and active. If you were not running AAU track or running from the cops, you weren't doing anything in the summer. So that was it.
Yeah. There were neighborhood games. They were, just I think Del Mar Little League when I first started playing. Then Hillside Little League started, and that was
Who
it.
did you play with? Huh?
I played with Del Mar Little League.
But the Cubs, what was the team?
No.
The
I
Cubs
played
with
with
us.
the Tigers.
The Tigers from Hillside.
The Hillside, and I played with the Bears over here in Del Mar Little League with Coach Carlos Cantu, Red Cantu, and it was a good time. But that was it.
Joe?
Now it's crazy.
I didn't play baseball.
What'd you
I
play?
was running around from the cops.
You were running for the
Boys Club.
Boys Club. Yeah, basketball,
yeah,
Boys Club. And if you got into a fight at the Boys and Girls Club basketball,
They throw you in the ring with a pair of gloves.
or a pair of gloves, let's go.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that was it.
It's
Bobby?
allowed in the pool.
That's right.
The just like you guys said, back then the good was that we went from sport to sport.
Yeah.
We played football in the fall, and then when it was over, we went to basketball. It was over. We went to baseball. It was over. We went to track. When it was over, we start all over again.
There was no
Yeah.
travel ball.
There was no travel ball.
There was no travel ball.
Travel ball at all.
We just went from sport to sport, and that's how we rolled. And then we got into the Boys and Girls Club, and we got into our seasons, and that's the good part of it.
Yeah, and I think it developed athletes, well-rounded athletes, because you would go from one sport to the other, and each sport trained your body a different way, and you kept getting better and better at all the sports because you were learning so much from each of the individual sports. And nowadays you can't do that.
Well, I believe development was
Was better.
back then was better than it is now.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to play 7 days a week,
Yeah.
and nobody wants to practice. Nobody wants to get stronger. Nobody wants to work at their craft and get it really to the top tier. They just want to show up to from one league to another league and go out of town and play, and you don't have no chance to develop.
The funny thing is my buddy here just said, I didn't play, I didn't play that. Well, I don't know if y'all would agree, but back then, our folks would say, hey, it's baseball season. Well, so I don't play baseball. I no me importa. You're going to go play.
You're going to go play.
You're going to go play. And I don't run track. You're going to go run.
You're going to do something.
You're going to do something.
That's what happened to me, man. They put me out. You have trials right now at 8:00. It's 7:30. But you know what? But amongst the kids in the neighborhoods when we were growing up, there was camaraderie. It built a way to deal with life, and they gave you lessons on how to deal with losses and camaraderie, and you were committed. You had a responsibility, and at the end of the day, you took away those valuable lessons. I remember we played a season under Red Gun 2. We lost every single game.
Nice.
But I was back the next year. We just enjoyed it, and we had talking about Eddie Quiroga and the Cuates and
El Arquitecto.
Sorry,
Eddie.
Yeah, we'll blame you, Eddie, for the complex there.
But we had
That's
good
another
people playing,
conversation.
and it was good. But and nowadays, it's turned. It's not what it used to be anymore. It's more of a business. It's a multi-billion-dollar business.
It's become an industry.
It's a huge industry, and
But
that's one of the things that back it was Del Mar, Belmont against Hillside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was Sandlot after all the leagues were done.
Yeah.
So you would go and play at a corner, find a lot.
Yeah.
That's right.
Doctor's Hospital was
Doctor's
an empty,
Hospital
was
was
a big
empty.
lot, empty. And Man Road, that was our field.
How many games were held against Hillside versus Chaparral?
Yeah, Chaparral,
Yeah.
another one
That's
came
right.
on.
You know,
So
yeah,
those
absolutely.
were the
Absolutely.
We used to jump the fence.
not
at the
only
school,
were
play in
you
the school.
not only were you developing when you were playing against neighborhood, but you were learning discipline that you need to be home when the lights are off.
That's right.
There was no cell phones, so that's a lesson learned in life.
Well, I mean, like we said, right? The boys' club, what would they do? Give you the gloves, right? At school, what would you get? You would get a paddle.
Absolutely.
You know, the Coach Adame, Coach Garcia, Coach. I mean, all those. I mean, you were afraid of those guys with
they'd
those
let you
paddles.
tussle for a while, and then after
you
it was
know?
over, shake hands, your teammates, and it was over.
Yeah.
But you learned sportsmanship and esprit de corps and those kind of things. But there are good things happening now, right? I mean, some of the good things that I think are happening is the number of opportunities that you have to be able to participate in a sport. Pick one. If you're not going to be a well-rounded athlete and play in all the sports, you could pick baseball, volleyball, basketball, golf, tennis, swimming,
Soccer. Yeah.
karate,
Even cheerleading.
jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
cheerleading.
Absolutely.
That's a sport, and even band. And I often say that band members are often not viewed as athletes, but they got to carry a big instrument and march, and they're out in the hot sun.
Let me tell you something. I'm a band dad. I'm a band dad, and the band kids. Shout out to the band kids because they're there at 5 a.m. until God knows when, and they work just as hard as our athletes do. And throughout my career at UISD, I'm fortunate and blessed where it goes hand in hand, and we support each other.
Right.
The fine arts and the athletics. But to shout out to the band, dance, cheer, ABCDs. Athletics, band, cheer, and dance. Shout out to them.
Tell me one thing, Bob. When we talk about the good about youth sports, what do you say? What do you describe as the good thing that comes from an athlete, an everyday athlete at United? What are some of the lessons that they take away?
I think it's a great question. I think that the good thing about athletics, youth sports, that we've gotten away from is that I think nowadays people focus on what you're going to get out of it. Is my kid going to get a scholarship? I want my kid to do this. I want my kid to do that. We've lost what it's really about, and that's making a well-rounded kid, providing a good experience. Like, I wasn't a star in high school. I wasn't. But I was a part of something special. I was a part of something bigger than myself. I learned perseverance. I learned teamwork. I learned sacrifice. I've learned humility. I've learned to be gracious. I learned all those things because of athletics, and that's what public school athletics. That's the good thing, and that's what we tell our coaches. Our slogan at UISD is we coach beyond the X's and O's. It's not just about winning is a byproduct.
Right.
But we're trying to develop and instill good, positive life lessons into kids that'll carry on forever. And that's really the good of youth sports. And we try and put good adults around our kids, and so that's the good part.
You know, Ted Lasso has one of my favorite shows. He once talked in one of the episodes about helping those kids become the best versions of themselves. Not just about winning and losing or what happened on the pitch, but how to make these kids just better people altogether, well-rounded individuals.
And I've seen coaches. I've seen your coaches go above and beyond with those certain kids that might need a little bit. They might not have what other kids have, right, financially and stuff. I've seen coaches go pick them up. I've seen coaches buy them the shoe. Like, I've seen those coaches go above and beyond what they need to do for their kids, right?
And we see that.
We see this. You know, you obviously, Bob, you see it in the high school level. I see it before they even get to you, and that's one of the biggest challenges. I've seen them since they were 4 years old until they step into the high school. A lot of these parents, they take advantage of great development. That's the good thing.
Yeah, that's one of the good things, I think.
I'm around softball and baseball, 100%. But here's the but. They had opportunity. I wish there was more of those kids before they hit that high school into developing and stop looking for the ring, the championship ring, get stronger, develop on your craft, regardless of what position you play. And they forget they play Monday through Sunday, and they forget that they need to practice. They need to rest their body, recover. All these other things that I've seen. And I got a game tomorrow, and this weekend I got to go play the tournament. And it's turned into, I believe you mentioned in Javi, is that it's a business.
It's a big business.
It's a big, huge business. Now, the bad.
Well, we'll get to the bad.
Yeah, the bad. We'll talk about that. But you know, going back to the good, there's a lot of good things out there that are happening in our youth sports, and that none of us were.
Well, just take a look at. I mean,
we're around it, because at the end of the day, right now, I see all these trainings that are available.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's part of that development.
I was like, we were hitting a tire. We were not hitting a tee.
That's right.
I mean, that's how I got trained.
Yeah, we're pulling tires.
We're pulling tires.
That's exactly.
The amount of education that's available to you online, sports videos, videotaping.
You can find everything.
Yeah. And then you have D1 athletes and professional athletes that have come back into their communities to put on camps and clinics and things that they just couldn't do before because travel was expensive. The ability to get those types of digital medias out to people so they can see a Craig Biggio or Roger Clemens teaching, pitching techniques or batting techniques. And those things are now available that weren't available to us. That's one of the good things I think is happening.
Well, both of you guys have seen our athletes at a young age, at a high school age, succeed. They've gone on. I think UISD, Bob, you can probably attest to this. We started to increase some of our signings at the collegiate level. Our athletes are succeeding. But I guess, and I've heard you talk about it. I've heard you talk about it. One of the best feelings that you all get is when you run into these athletes as adults now, as family members.
100%. Yes. You know what's really good, at least on my side, is that I'm starting to see their kids come and play in the league, and I coach them kids. I'm not coaching; I'm just running the league now. But I coach these kids, and they went through some spectacular, talented kids giving back. Not only I see some coaches. They're coaching in high school now, and they're giving back. But a lot of them are other professions, lawyers, firemen, PD. You see all these kids, and I look at it when I'm registering. I'm looking at them like, man, I'm this old already. But I'm this old. But you know what? That's the payback. Yeah, that's why I do what I do.
That's a great example. And just the other day, I'll go back to, I heard y'all talking about my beloved Spurs, but I'm going to shout out to this young man. He grew up at UISD Athletics. His name is Kenny Trevino.
Oh yeah.
And I went to a Spurs game and I saw him and he recognized me and we had a great talk. And he was like, Coach, when I was a little boy, I would watch you and Luis Valdez go at it. The United versus Alexander basketball games. I wanted to do that, and he was one of our athletes and contributed. He was a great player for Alexander, and look what he's doing today. He's an assistant coach, worked his way up. Super proud of that young man. That's a byproduct. not only but his parents and his work ethic, but the education and the treatment and the nurturing that he got from USC athletics.
And that's the good.
That's the
the
good.
good of what we see.
And there's other good. There's good, tough coaches still. Very few.
Very few.
Because I know that obviously at the high school level, there's a lot of rules and disciplines and everything that you can and can't do. Because I think, Joe, you mentioned the paddle. The paddle's gone.
Villarreal,
I was terrified of Coach Garcia.
Clark Middle coach, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Joe
people-
Villarreal.
Joe Villarreal.
Yeah,
No,
Joe
Joe Villarreal.
Villarreal.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that paddle hurt. And I still remember that. And
Jorge Rodriguez.
George
Yeah.
Garcia.
Yeah.
That's,
George Garcia, Jorge
Yes.
Rodriguez.
yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, so those things were good things, at least in our,
Well, yeah.
when
Because
we
it
were
kept you
growing
in
up.
check.
Absolutely.
You were actually, you were scared to get in trouble,
Yeah,
right? Like
you had
you
to
didn't
bring
wanna
your
break
shorts
a
to,
rule.
to,
Yeah.
to the gym.
Oh,
You had
yeah.
to bring your
Oh, yeah.
shorts.
And then those shorts were thin, man. So if you were going to get a paddle, you were going to feel it.
And did your parents find out
Oh, yeah.
about the paddle?
You know what? I was like, give me,
Mine didn't.
hey,
Mine never
give me
did.
3, but don't tell my dad.
Yeah,
Give me 3, but don't tell my dad.
Because the paddle would
Yeah.
have been worse at home.
At home,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have came to school to make sure, then
Got
go
some-
home, and you're gonna even
another
get
one.
even
You know,
another one.
I would come home from basketball practice and I would say, man, my hit right here. God, he hit me hard. And my mom would be like, what happened? I said, well, Coach Bill Beatty, may he rest in peace, would turn over his
green.
state championship ring. He'd turn it and he'd hit
the
you on the
elbow
head.
tap.
You knucklehead. Oh, why did you turn the ball over, you knucklehead? And he would bang us against the head. And my mom would just say, well, don't turn the ball over. You know, don't make mistakes.
Don't make mistakes,
You know,
yeah.
and you don't get that anymore.
Mullet.
But there's a lot
Coach
of
Vasquez used to call us mullets.
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 I remember Coach Vasquez back in the day with my brother Hector and Andy, and really played. He used to do bear claws in the baseball field.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
With the stickers on your hands.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, we can all talk about all the
But-
good things that happen, but there are some bad things that are happening in sports these days, at youth sports. And when we come back, we're going to cover the bad things that are happening in youth sports, because there are some that we need to be concerned with as parents, as athletes, as former athletes, and as community leaders. We need to kind of look at how we fix some of these things, or at least lend our expertise to those. So we'll be right back. I heard the Iceman showed up. The ice is here.
Life is full of great moments, special moments, shared with friends, family, and loved ones. But for some, pain deprives us from fully enjoying these moments. If chronic pain is keeping you from fully enjoying life, there is hope. Hi, I'm Dr. Marta Martinez. At Advanced Spine Pain Solutions, we're dedicated to treating our patients with the most advanced and compassionate care possible. Visit us for an evaluation and let our experienced staff help you get back to living a pain-free life.
We have a 9-acre facility, 200,000 square feet of indoor storage, as well as about 4 to 5 acres of outdoor storage. Pricing is subject to change based on your selection of either indoor or outdoor availability.
Life is full of great moments, special moments, shared with friends, family, and loved ones. But for some, pain deprives us from fully enjoying these moments. If chronic pain is keeping you from fully enjoying life, there is hope. Hi, I'm Dr. Marta Martinez. At Advanced Spine Pain Solutions, we're dedicated to treating our patients with the most advanced and compassionate care possible. Visit us for an evaluation and let our experienced staff help you get back to living a pain-free life.
And we're back, and with the discussion on our hot topic, youth sports, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We just covered the good, a lot of good going on. But we do recognize that there is some bad out there, and some of the bad is, I was mentioning before the show started, just the pressure on the kid to participate every day, every weekend, travel. Not just one travel team, a couple travel teams, and then they've got to go here and go there, and add academics to that. Where does a kid get a break? And the cost of it all.
Well, I'll tell you, one of my experiences when I first got elected to the school board, I got a call from a parent whose child played on the volleyball team. And he wanted me as a board member to go and demand from the coach that his daughter play a certain position, because that was going to guarantee her a scholarship. And my first call was to this gentleman over here to my right.
I get those every day.
And he says, I said, hey, I got this call. I didn't know what to do with it. I've never, what do I know? And he says, don't get involved. The coaches are the ones who decide what is in the best interest for their own team. And that was the rule, and that's been the rule for me since then. And I got told off by the parent. He was not a happy camper, and has since spoken to me since he has not spoken to me since then. But it just goes to show that we have a lot of backseat driving parents who maybe live vicariously through their own kids, and push them sometimes they push them to excel in sports. And it just, it's overbearing on the children sometimes, and it's gotten expensive. Travel teams, equipment is expensive now. We weren't traveling when we were growing up. Now you got national rankings. You've got travel
qualifiers
every week. I'm surprised. A good friend of mine, Angel Garcia, who has 5 daughters.
5 daughters.
5 daughters.
Yes.
All of them played volleyball. And all of them are on travel teams.
I was thinking about 5 weddings.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed because they're all very good athletes. They're all very good volleyball players, and they excel. And it's just my hats off, because that is an expensive sport.
You're saying something right on, Javi, because I believe that, through the 10 years of what I've seen in youth sports and going through high school, what they invest in their travel ball teams, they're already telling pretty much the head coach, he's your starter. They do not, and Bobby, I'm sure you can chime in on this because you get those calls. And when they turn into 7th or 8th graders and really going into their freshman year, it's like I spent $50,000 in the last 4 years. So he's your best guy, best girl. And I've always said, when you put on the school uniform, it's a whole different deal. You're whatever you do out there, it's great as a development if you use it the right way. Those tools are good if you use them the right way.
Well, this is a question for Bobby. How do you deal with that? Because you've got not just that one kid who spent $50,000. You've got 50 kids who spent $50,000 over the last 4 years to develop their kid, and they wind up in your teams at the schools. What do you do now?
That's. I joke with Javi that I get those all the time. I get those calls all the time, and that's one of the bad things about it. And what's happening nowadays is that those parents are, I got a call the other day that says, hey, what's it going to look like next year? We haven't even finished this year, and they want to know what's going to happen, or because my club coach or my private coach says that my daughter should be a setter, or that my son should be a point guard, and he's playing the wrong position because the person I'm paying is telling me that the person that is not getting paid that heavily, our coaches are teachers first and foremost.
Yeah.
They get a stipend, and it's meager.
Yeah.
So they truly, I was a coach. I was a basketball coach, and I would tell parents, well, the private coach said this. Private coach, okay, great, but I'm going to do what's best for our team.
Hey, Bobby, I'm going to chime in here because I've always said this. That private coach or that select coach, regardless of what you pay, he's going to tell you your kid is the best kid because you're paying him.
Yeah.
I always say that. I was like,
you create these expectations.
Exactly.
Your kid is hitting 300 or 400 in the summer. Then I come and see him at a high school game, and I go, What happened? What happened? What you were doing in the summer, you can't do it in high school.
I told one of my best friends the other day, and I'm glad he's one of my best friends, so it frees me up to tell him what I want to say. And he said something like that. He goes, well, you know, my private coach said my kid was the best. I was like, yeah, of course he did. Your check cleared. That's why he told
Exactly.
you that.
Yeah, you're paying him.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
I've seen these travel teams. You know, my daughter was in volleyball. I have another daughter who's in volleyball, and you know, they're on travel teams, and so they're not as much anymore. But you know, I've had parents call me and say, "Hey, the travel basketball team from this facility won national champions, and they're all from Troutman Middle, and they're all going to Alexander." And so you need to keep that team together, because tryouts happen. All of a sudden, a few of them get cut. And wait a minute, something is wrong here. This team won the national championship in travel ball. You know, why did you cut them up over here? You know, the coach doesn't know what he's doing, or she doesn't know what she's doing, and it just steamrolls from there. You know?
I believe the formulas do not work. I've seen this happen, and I remember with my daughter when she was going through travel ball, she had to learn how to play shortstop, third base, outfield, something besides her position.
Yeah.
And that was it. You know, you go play, you got to go make that team.
No,
When you come to high
nowadays,
school-
parents get upset
Yeah.
and they'll say, "I'll take my kid somewhere else."
Yeah.
And they
So,
go to a private
when
school.
you're trying
So,
to
you know, now
simulate-
they leave south and they go
When
to
you're trying to
San Jose
simulate
State.
a team that's going to a certain school, it's doomed to fail. Because at the end of the day, when that group of eighth graders go in as a freshman, what I've seen is you have sophomores already there, you have juniors,
Yeah.
matureness, discipline, they know the program,
Experience.
the experience. So you go into that, and that's where that failure comes in. What you just said, Javi, is that, wait a minute, I had those 8 all-star, we won national championships.
So it's funny that Javi says that, because I know exactly what he's talking about, because I dealt with that call. And this parent.
You still remember that call?
Oh, I remember like yesterday. This parent wanted me to go to that school and declare the tryouts null and void, do them all over again, because their child didn't get cut. Their child didn't make the A team. The child made the B team instead. But about 8 kids from that same team were on the A team, and wanted me to go and do it all over again.
Well, here's one of the bad things about what you just described, because this is something that's affecting your budgets. When we were going to school, there was one team.
That's it.
You made it or you didn't. And that was it. And if you didn't make it, you worked your butt off in that summer or in the off season to make that team. Or you went and tried even harder for the baseball team because you didn't make the basketball team or didn't make the track team. And so you just were constantly working.
There are some large school districts, larger than us, that have C teams.
There you go. And so
Yeah.
those are
So-
budget constraints now, right? And so now, what do you do at that point? At what point does the school district say, "Look, I can't afford all these teams. I can't afford to give everybody an opportunity to play. I've got to get the most select players possible and move."
Right about now.
Right about now.
Right about now.
I think we're doing.
But Joe, you were going to say the same thing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you witnessed it.
No, I've seen it. I was gonna say, when my son played or tried out for the freshman team, there was over 100 kids trying out for about 30 spots, maybe.
Yeah.
And then after those 30 kids made it to the freshman team, a few are gonna make the JV.
And,
So-
and,
so
I, and
those
out of those
stars-
100, I'm sorry to interrupt, but out of those 100, all of them played Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
All of them were on select teams.
Yeah.
All of them
traveled, yeah.
all of them travel. All of them. Nowadays, all of them. And,
Yeah.
and I'll tell parents nowadays, and I've been doing this 34 years now, so I'm a little more. It frees me up to tell people what I really think nowadays. But I tell parents, your child is not unique. It's really not.
Yeah.
My kid does this and my kid does that. So does every other kid that participates.
You start seeing the quarterbacks and the receivers come in from, let's say, Troutman Middle, United Middle, Clark Middle, those coming in from the private schools and the basketball programs and the baseball programs. You start seeing them come in from outside. And so the little clique that you had here, all of a sudden you've got, 6, 7 other people who are just as fast, just
as
as
talented,
agile,
yeah.
just as agile. But one of the things I do see is the economics sometimes, and the disparity. And I know United South has really come up a lot, and I talk about United at UISD, but I see the program like at United South. When 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was still a very young program. But now you see LBJ made the playoffs. You see United teams making the playoffs. You know, and I always go back. I refer back to the volleyball, because there was a time there that I used to feel real bad, because the United girls and the Alexander girls who lived through the travel teams had those opportunities and
The
learned
development, the
from
teaching,
young
yeah.
kids. A lot of the you know, lower economic echelon children didn't have those opportunities, and so, you know, Bobby and I talked about this, trying to invest, you know, more money and time into some of those programs so they could compete at some of the same levels. And so, but you see that coming
those
up.
things are that's good that you're mentioning that now, because at the end of the day, all those programs, every school district, not only in the USD but LISD, the opportunities, the good opportunities. So a lot of those United South, LBJ, all those programs, those kids get to develop even more, even though they might not travel as much. But give me a quality tournament that you go to, go get measured, see where we're at. It's a lot better than traveling every single
Right, you go to that one
Yeah.
tournament that makes you competitive because you're competing against the best. in
But
that
you see
particular
those
arena.
coaches, for example, if you if you take the coaches here in the north side, excellent coaches, you know, very experienced, and a lot of the girls here are on autoplay. I mean, they come in, they're fine-tuned athletes already, growing up through the travel teams, growing up through the Boys and Girls Club, growing up. They have the opportunities. But when you see a coach bring let's say a volleyball program or a basketball program into a playoff mode, that's pure coaching, man. That's pure coaching.
I believe one of the bad things that we see nowadays in youth sport is the parent wants to live their life through their kid.
Yeah.
That is
You see a lot of that.
a lot of that. And two is the parent wants to dictate to the school, this is how it's got to be, because there's somebody watching them, scouting them,
Yeah.
and all these things that they bring into the high school level. At the end of the day, that college coach is going to pick up the phone and call the high school coach. How's his attitude? How are the parents' attitude?
Yeah. Are they
Yeah.
coachable?
Are they coachable?
Coachable.
If not, I don't care how good you are.
Can they get into the school?
Can they get into
Get
them
into
because of the
school.
grades?
The grades.
Can they
the
get
grade
into the
schools,
school?
Yeah.
Well, which brings an interesting point. UISD has open enrollment, right? If they live in the South, they can go to school in the North if they so choose. The portal in NCAA sports has become the bane of its existence, I think. Kids say, I'm not happy here because I'm not getting enough playing time. They don't want to wait to
Jumping
develop and
ship.
mature. They're
I'm
jumping ship.
yeah.
Is
Juan
that-
Lopez is calling me now to go over to.
Go to the
That's the new thing. I know
Jumping to the
Coach Lopez.
LISD. But is that happening in the high school levels? I mean, are you
Absolutely.
Seeing, are you seeing kids, you know, from United States? I would get a much better chance to play at LBJ
Every day.
if
Yeah.
I didn't. If,
At Martin High,
Every day.
at
Yeah.
Nixon,
Oh, yeah.
they're being
Every day.
Yeah,
coached.
from UISD to LISD, and some
UISD
from LISD to going to UISD.
From UISD to St. Aug, from UISD to LISD.
and what does that teach our kids that they can bail on a program just because they? I mean, I had to ride the Pine, you know, my sophomore year until I got a chance to start. And then once I proved myself, they let me play. Then I got to get on to JV, and I had to ride the Pine until the guy in front of me got hurt or I got a chance to shine.
I believe as parents, nobody wants to see their kid fail anymore,
Of course not.
or they don't want
Yeah,
to
of
work
course
hard for it. That we talked about a little bit before. You know, hey, what's the easiest path? And instead of working hard, it feels good. I've even to the day, you know, some athletes that are playing that I see in football and baseball and the sports that I see in high school, you've seen that parent do it the right way. So there is a right way to
Oh,
do
yeah.
it. And I go up
Oh,
there and
yeah.
I make sure it says, hey, congratulations. They didn't go, let me go to that because most of the talent is going to go to that school. No, they stuck
Stuck it
to that school they belong to, and they made the best of it.
I've,
So I
I've
think
seen,
it's
I've
good.
seen kids,
Wouldn't go over
varsity
10.
kids, play, and they're dribbling and they make a mistake, and the first thing they do is look up at the dad
Instead of the coach.
instead of the coach. And the dad, like gritando, like going crazy, right? But the kid's more worried about what the dad's going to say or what he's going to be told at home than focusing on the game itself.
I was reading a story before I got here that kids' testimony about youth sports, that the ride home from the game
The worst.
Absolutely.
was more stressful
In the game.
than the actual game.
I agree with you 100%.
I had a rule when I was coaching flag football, the Boys and Girls Club, with the parents. First meeting, the kids went out with the other coaches. I sat with the parents and I said, I coach, you cheer. If there is any interference whatsoever, get your kid and go. Because I cannot coach with 10 of you all yelling at your kid from the sideline.
I'm sure you've heard of this before, or you know of this happening before, but it happens quite a lot. And even back to my coaching days, I had a player who he was almost relieved every time his dad would not go to the game, and sometimes when his dad would be there for 2 points a game, but a couple of times his dad wasn't there, it freed him up, and he dropped 20, and he was just the best, and like what got into you.
I'll tell you one thing though. At least when I was growing up, obviously I was the youngest of 6. My dad, and probably Gene, you were around my brother Robert in that class. He never stepped into a field. He always sat by himself. And one time I would ask him, the only time he would step to get close to a field was when there was going to be senior or some presentation to come out with your parents. And I always asked him, he goes, don't you support his dad? He goes, no, I want to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
He enjoyed the game sitting by himself, not hearing the parents.
Richard,
So-
we've talked about this before, and I've told Javier before. I've seen parents in the middle of a softball game yank their child off the field because coach put her at second instead of short in the middle of a game.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter's not playing there. Get your stuff. We're leaving.
Yeah.
And that was unheard of back in our day.
No.
Yeah,
And Bobby
absolutely.
told me an interesting story. I know that we talked about it. I think we were off camera, but we talked about it some time back. And so now administrators have the authority to remove parents who are unruly or disrespectful
Without warning.
Without warning. Had an administrator last year in a middle school B team girls basketball game, removed the entire. She cleared the benches.
gym. She cleared the gym.
Just
She
sent
cleared
everybody
the
out.
gym. The girls ended up playing the last 2 quarters with no parents, no spectators,
No distractions.
In that,
Yeah.
which I thought was
That was probably the
Because
best
that's
game
okay.
ever.
Good for girls.
You know
Yeah.
something? And it wasn't the kids. It wasn't the coaches. It wasn't the officials. She removed the parents.
Yeah.
She removed the parents, and we would not resume the game until everybody got out. We cleared out the gym. We finished the game with no incidents.
we've
Right.
had,
Man,
we have
somebody
awesome.
did y'all film that? You should play that game.
Well, of course, the next day I get the calls,
Yeah.
from parents and, hey, well, what are you going to do to this administrator?
I want my money back.
I want my money
Yeah.
back. Or, we got kicked out of the game. What are you going to do to the administrator? And I was like, I'm going to pat her on the back. She did what she
Good
was
job.
supposed to
Yeah.
do. She did a good job.
Good job.
We have
Behave.
to bring in security guards now. And as the moment in the basketball games or the volleyball games, the moment the whistle blows, security comes in, and one side is escorted one way, and the other side is escorted. That's how bad it's gotten.
Well, that brings us to the ugly side of sports. And we're going to take a break and come back and cover the ugly side of sports, because there are some ugly things
Yes.
happening out there on the field, in the stands, before the game, after the game, and we want to cover those things as well. We'll be right back.
Man, I imagine if you would have.
Life is full of great moments, special moments, shared with friends, family, and loved ones. But for some, pain deprives us from fully enjoying these moments. If chronic pain is keeping you from fully enjoying life, there is hope. Hi, I'm Dr. Marta Martinez. At Advanced Spine Pain Solutions, we're dedicated to treating our patients with the most advanced and compassionate care possible. Visit us for an evaluation and let our experienced staff help you get back to living a pain-free life.
We have a 9-acre facility, 200,000 square feet of indoor storage, as well as about 4 to 5 acres of outdoor storage. Pricing is subject to change based on your selection of either indoor or outdoor availability.
Life is full of great moments, special moments, shared with friends, family, and loved ones. But for some, pain deprives us from fully enjoying these moments. If chronic pain is keeping you from fully enjoying life, there is hope. Hi, I'm Dr. Marta Martinez. At Advanced Spine Pain Solutions, we're dedicated to treating our patients with the most advanced and compassionate care possible. Visit us for an evaluation and let our experienced staff help you get back to living a pain-free life.
We're back. 3 Minute Mike, your host, Joe Barron, Javi Montemayor, our guest, Bobby Cruz from UISD, Richard Rosas from Rita Pony. And we've covered the hot topic, youth sports, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We've gone through the good. We've talked about the bad, but here comes the ugly. Carla, you got some clips for us there? Roll those clips. Look at that. Pile driving right into the ground. Next clip, Carla. And here comes a parent.
And here comes the parents, yeah.
Yep.
Yellow card.
Yellow card.
Yellow card.
And there's the parent just yelling, and the mom. Mom getting in there, throwing in her 2 cents.
Money.
Money.
There's got to be a parent somewhere coming in there somewhere. There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
That starts. And here comes mom.
Yeah.
Karen.
Yeah.
And after the official. And then going after the official.
Mm-hmm. I think you're supposed to blow the whistle there. They're
At
off.
some point,
they're outside
right?
the
That's
line.
outside the circle.
Outside the circle.
Oh, man. There you go.
Touch my son.
The ugly side of it.
That is the ugly side.
Carla, is that the last one? Oh, we got one more. There's the parents.
Yeah. Were they fighting there at the White House? This past
And at
Friday?
a Catholic school, no less.
Yeah.
I mean, good, goodness.
They had vouchers.
Confession from both of them. Vámonos.
Enough is enough in light of
Carla, is that the last clip? And so there you see just a couple of clips that we can find on the internet. We could spend all show showing clips and talking about parents going after other kids, parents going after each other, parents going after the coaches, parents going after the referees. All sorts of ugliness that's happening in sports these days. Where does it stop? And you guys deal with this on
All
a
the time.
regular basis.
You know, I don't want to hog up this portion because I could talk about it for a long time. The UIL and the state are really making a push to curb this behavior because it's gotten out of control.
Yeah.
And we can now remove you without any warning. We can ban you if you run onto a court and you touch a kid, you touch a coach, you touch an official. We can, of course, you're going to get arrested, but we can ban you for up to 2 years. And it's unappealable. And what I tell parents is, you'll never win that case. It doesn't matter it won't matter what you come in
There's
and say.
no excuse for that.
There's no excuse. You're going to lose that case every time. And the other thing I was going to say is we deal with it all the time is that, you know, does anyone know the average age of officials today? The average age of
18,
referees.
19.
Take a guess.
Probably in their 20s now.
The average age of an official today is 59 years old.
no.
No.
Oh, the opposite end of the spectrum.
which means
Nobody else is signing up for this
these
deal.
people are not signing up to be officials.
Well, why would you?
Well, no, why
and
would you?
That's
I
the
was- I
number,
was
that's
gonna- I was
the
gonna say
number one
that.
reason
Yeah.
why people are not officiating.
Yeah.
And why and we at UIST we've had to cancel games, reschedule games, delay games because we don't have officials.
I was an
And-
official for over 10 years. You know, we were part of the La Matia crew. We traveled every Friday night. We'd travel to a football game and we'd call games.
I
in the
saw a
morning.
clip today, yesterday or this, today that, because I was looking at some stuff, the ugly stuff.
The ugly stuff.
There was
yeah.
one league that said, if you're a parent and you cross that line with an umpire, for you to get back in the field to watch your kid play, you got to 3 games for free.
No.
I like
Huh.
that.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a rule, right?
Yeah, and you know
it's-
what?
yeah.
Because I think everybody, I go back, they get obsessed, entitled. Do you know who I am? Do you know how much money I spend for my travel ball?
Yeah.
I can tell that ref anything I want.
I got a story for you.
Yeah.
Coach Boteo, Juan Boteo, the assistant director, athletic director, he and I used to umpire softball back in the day, Gateway Girls softball, way back when Cliff Michaud was still around. Bobby Santos was the coach at the time. And I remember one game, the parents were just chirping at us, at me and Juan. They were just telling us all sorts of stuff. And ESPN was brand new. Maybe that channel had been on for about 2 or 3 years. And we both turned around and yelled at the parent, "Go home and watch it on ESPN, fool." It was ridiculous. We never wanted to come back and do that again. And for what, $5? I think they paid us per game. It was. I wouldn't
Yeah,
wasn't gonna do that.
These games that I did, a couple of games we had to have security take us out.
Yeah.
Because there was such an intense rivalry. You know, I remember I was the back judge and I turned around after a call, and I probably only had one call the entire game that was probably in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left, scores tied, and I made one call, and all of a sudden I had Coke bottles. And I turned around, there was Coke bottles being thrown. But I go back to when I was growing up, I never saw police called to a game. I never saw police, showing up to a,
No.
or did we need security guards to not manage the players, manage the parents?
parents.
And that's
The amount of respect that we had for the coaches and for the officials
Oh,
and
that's
for the
immense.
adults as athletes, we would never cross that line. Our parents had that same respect for the coaches and the officials.
It's a sad state when the UIL and lawmakers are making laws, giving us the authority to do that. And I just got back from our AD's conference, and the UIL, we meet with the UIL twice a year, and the UIL is now encouraging us. You've got to practice these scenarios. You've got to practice as a coach.
Almost like
you
a
know,
fire drill.
Yeah, for a fight. What's
Yeah.
going to happen? Which coach is going to get the kids? Which coach is going to
Get the parents.
Get the parents. Which coach is going to do this? And I don't want to hog up this conversation too much, but we always pregame football games. We always talk to our staff. We always talk to police department. Shout out to UISD PD because they really take care of us.
Yeah.
And I always tell the guys. I always tell PD, watch the handshake, watch the fence. We hardly ever watch the game. Yeah, everybody thinks, oh, that's a great job. He watches the game all the time. Nowadays, I'm really not watching the game. I'm watching the stands. I'm watching the handshake. I'm watching the play when people get off a pile, and then I'm watching, and I'll say, hey, keep it on that kid because he's about to lose it. And where's his dad? Okay, there's his dad up there, and
What was
And he's
a
losing
couple of
his
years?
he's losing it as well.
It happened in the Valley, Bobby.
Oh, that kid.
That the football player that went straight at
He was
official.
ejected.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
arrested.
He was arrested.
I'm
He-
straight
he
at
did-
it.
he did
Let
time.
me tell you what. Yeah,
The
did he do
UIL,
time?
He did
he
time.
did time, and the UIL banned him the UIL banned him. Not only that, but the UIL banned him for the rest of his career. He was a senior already, but I think he did wrestling, so he was not able to participate. Then the UIL sanctioned the school, pulled that school out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if
Well-
there's any message from all of this is that you really need to control yourself. You really need to,
Yeah.
and that's a battle that you'll never win, no matter how much you scream and shout and blame the officials or blame this. You will never win that battle.
No.
Yeah, because there's really no excuse for that.
There's
Once the parents and even obviously in the high school, the coaches, they get technical fouls, you get a warning, then you're going to get thrown out. On the youth side, the only time that I got thrown out was It was during the NBA Finals a long time ago. I was at a softball, talking about softball. I was coaching, Pam's softball game. I told the umpire in that first pitch, I want you to throw me out. He goes, why? So I want to leave the game because I'm going to go see the Spurs. so what do you call it? You're out of here. So that was it. But again, you got to respect it. You're not going to win that battle like you're saying.
Yeah,
But let me point this out to you guys. Talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? The good during the portion of the good, we talked about kids.
Yeah.
The bad and the ugly. What have we been talking about?
Parents,
Adults.
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 Yeah,
the common denominator.
that's a common denominator in the bad and the ugly.
So as adults, we need to check. We need to check ourselves.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I think the expectations now are very different. My dad was not involved in talking to the coach about when and how to play me. He didn't get involved in that conversation. He said, you're going to play ball, and that's it. If I rode the bench, I rode the bench. If I played, I played.
And it was up to me whether I wanted to continue to play or not. He didn't pressure me to keep going or not. If I liked it, I liked it, and it was fine with him.
But it's hard to tell.
But it's
people
hard for you guys because y'all don't have the same rules and the same protections that UIL has for their coaches. You're volunteer coaches.
Yes, and that's
And
where
those parents, that's tough on you guys.
the parents. It's I like when we have these tournaments because Pony has that rule: 0 tolerance. Zero. That means they have the authority to remove you, and the game will not continue until
So you're gone.
you're gone. And
Well-
you're not going to win that battle against
You're
the
not going to
other.
win that battle.
Or a ruling that if they appeal it and if the director called it, that's what it is. Thank you very much. Enjoy the game. And if you don't do that, it gets out of control quick.
How much of this, guys, do you believe is a generational gap? It's from where we grew up to even the younger coaches, the younger parents now. There seems to be a different way of seeing how
Different attitude.
It's a different attitude. Is it a generational thing?
I believe it's a generational thing that compiles with several other things about pain. I pay.
You play.
Yeah.
My daughter
Yeah,
play.
I pay my son. I pay my daughter. I got the best select coach. I got the best club. I travel around the United States. Do you know who I am?
Yeah. Do you know how much I put into
Yeah.
this?
And
For
when
my
you
kid?
come back to a rec league like we are, or to high school, no, you don't understand. No.
So here's a question for you two, since you've seen this, right, for many years, right? Have the kids changed?
Or have the parents changed?
Well, because I got Joe to answer that. I go back the money, because I got a $500 bat. Do you know the glove that it cost me another $500?
But you might have a $2 swing
Yeah,
because you don't work. You don't work on your craft.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I won't mention his name, but I'll tell you we were in a tournament back in the day and very good friend of mine till the day right now walked into the baseball store and looked at the bat and was like, oh, $385. He told the guy, does a kid come with it that can hit with the ball? But that's what it's expected.
I
Tennis
told this story
Yeah.
to Richard and Javier, and I think they're familiar with it. And God love him, and may he rest in peace. My friend J.J. Gomez, when he coached baseball at United High School, he had a heck of a run there where he was just in third round, fourth round. And there was one year where we were eliminated in the first round. I think Edinburgh eliminated us.
Mhm.
Edinburgh had an ace.
Yeah.
And so the very next day, I had a parent call me and say, when are you going to fire that guy? Because that was unacceptable. And we spend this amount of money, and to get that result is unacceptable. It is unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
And so, now that I'm getting up there in years, I have the ability to
push back a
little bit and say,
Yeah.
and say, what makes you think that the kids in Edinburgh aren't doing the exact same thing that our kids are doing? They were just, they got us this year. It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
happens. They got us.
Oh, but
and
you're
it-
right. The cost of all of that factors into it because, of
The
course,
cost.
there's a comment there, entitlement. one of our guests just commented, is entitlement. Exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, when I grew up, I was entitled to a baseball bat that my dad got from the salvage yard at the U.S. Air Force because their softball teams and baseball teams had leftover equipment, and I wound up getting a bat. And I played with a wooden bat, not an aluminum bat, growing up.
Well, I believe back in the day when we were playing ball, there was one bat for the whole team. And now you have
Coach Herrera.
Elias Herrera.
Just a couple bats.
The
That's
Hawks.
it.
The Hawks. Yeah.
You know, I really have to give a lot of credit, and you know, I got to give a shout out to our coaches.
Yeah.
You know, coaches, youth coaches, anybody that takes on this responsibility to coach someone else's kids deserves the ultimate respect, the ultimate slack.
Yeah.
Leave them alone. Let them do their job. You may not agree with them. If you're gonna I would tell my parents when I was coaching it. Look, I know you're gonna bash me, but do it in your bedroom. Do it when your kids are asleep. Do it, you know. But I'm gonna do let me do my job, and I'm gonna do what's
just
best.
that comment right now. The entitlement, Bobby, is one of the biggest things. Even in youth sports, I go back to who's training me. He's better than you are, coach. I can't play only for that coach. He's the best.
Oh, yeah.
But you're not very good, Richard. What you do. But guess what? There's been some teams in high school that have not been as talented as others, have made those runs, Bobby. You've seen them in high school. I've seen them it's great to have talent, but at the end of the day, that other team did not have the talent we did, and they made a good run.
They made a great run.
They made a great run. They were unified. They were disciplined.
Yeah.
I mean,
Most coaches nowadays start because of their children.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm going to coach my daughter or my son's little league team, the t-ball teams, the little league teams, and after a while, sometimes it just gets real toxic that they just end up saying, you know what,
I want to do this.
you know, everybody wants to be a coach.
When I coached flag football, my son in the audience will tell you, we took on 22 players every year. That's it, no more. 22 players, all I could handle.
44 parents.
Because there were 8 that played full-time on offense and 3 subs. All of them rotating. Everybody got to play. Same on defense. And when we cut a player or 2 or 3 or 4, in one case we had 40 come out for one team, a professor at the university came over and just started to chew me out and said, my son's got to play. You have to play. I'm going to go to the school and tell him. I borrow the field from the school. I use the detention ponds over there, or I use other fields. The school doesn't tell me how to run my team. Well, I'm going to go to the Boys and Girls Club. Well, go to the Boys and Girls Club. I'm a volunteer.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you really want your kid to play, I'll teach you how to coach.
Let me ask you this.
I'll lend you flags.
I know, we see it in the youth sports and before they get to you guys. You know, parents don't want to get involved to coach.
They're too busy.
Well, they're too busy. Oh no, I don't want to hear it.
Well,
I don't want to deal with parents.
responsibility.
I don't want to hear with the parents. I don't want to hear for this. And they think I believe in high school. Yes, I've been around the UISD and LISD and all the sports that I've been a big supporter of. It's super hard to get a coach to get out there, right?
Right
Nowadays?
Nowadays,
Super hard.
you
can post it.
It's a statewide crisis for us.
Yeah.
You know, we're losing coaches.
Just as it is
Yeah.
with
We're-
officials.
we're-
Yeah.
What do you think is the number one factor?
I'll tell you, and that's a great question. I was talking to Javier about this the other day. Every time I lose a coach, every time we lose a coach, I always have an exit interview. I always tell them, you know, what's going on. You know, let's talk about this. Slow down. We need you. We value you. We need you to coach our kids. The top 3 reasons why coaches are leaving the profession is number 3. It's somewhat pay. But we all understand we're not in this for money. We love being teachers, right? That's 3, a distant third. Second is time away from home. It's time consuming because
steady.
nowadays, as a former basketball coach, I was never home. I was always coaching. Can you imagine now, 20 years later, it's year round. That's the number 2 reason. The number 1 reason why we can't find coaches anymore is parents.
They just don't want to deal with the parents.
I don't want to deal with that.
And I believe
I don't-
that's the
and
ugly of
and
the
Richard-
ugliest of this program.
And Richard,
of
and
women's sports.
nowadays, I had a coach that says, I don't want to do it anymore because I'm getting blasted on social media, and this
Okay.
parent
I've been
has
through it.
no problem going on to social media and just blasting me.
Yeah.
And what sucks about it for us is that we've got to sit there and take it. And I always tell our coaches, take the high road, don't do it. don't respond, just blow him off, block him. And he's
yeah.
like, but coach, I got to coach his kid now. And we love the kid.
Yeah.
But
Can't.
that's the number one reason why we can't.
We had
And
a,
those are three good ones.
we had a grandmother of a player bash the coach, sending him emails and sending him all sorts of threats and stuff, and even the grandparents are getting involved.
So-
Now you understand why the parents may be how they are.
And I wanted to say that because, you know, it's what you see, the hard, we got to stop registering kids because we don't have coaches to come on.
Guys, I'm sorry to
That's
interrupt,
good.
but
That's going to be the end of it. right there.
I've sent UISD police, true story, I've sent UISD police department because a coach called me and said, hey, we're on the bus, we're leaving Kruger Field, middle school, we're leaving Kruger Field to back home to this campus, game is over, and there's a dad that wanted to talk to me, and he's irate, and I told him, and I always tell the coaches, 48 hours, man, don't talk to anybody, everybody's hot, let everybody cool down, come back in 48 hours, and we'll all calm down. It privately, not after a game, it's never good.
Never good.
This guy, coach said, you know the rule, we're not going to talk right now, 48 hours. This guy took no for an answer, got in his car, followed the kids to the field house, and was waiting outside the field house and said, I'm going to be out here waiting for you. What does that sound like to you?
Is it threat?
So I have to
Yeah.
call UISD Police Department and get somebody over there and to help this coach.
So before we go to the last segment, which is our favorite segment, the last bite, how do we fix this? What's the solution? Because there's no easy fix, right? I mean, as long as coaches continue to feel threatened and undervalued, underpaid, as long as the job is as stressful as it is, time away from home, how do you fix this? Because you're not getting officials either. That's the same thing with the officials, probably doing the same thing. I got to travel. I got to stay out till 9, 10 o'clock at night, miss my family for a small amount of money and a tremendous amount of responsibility and backlash from people when I don't make the call they want. How do you fix it?
It's that is tough. If parents would get educated to spending so much money, and I've seen parents that are barely making it, and they will not pay a bill because I want my son or daughter to participate in this tournament or whatever it is, because they're the next scholarship 100% paid, the school, this and that. If they would get educated how the college programs do work when you're getting recruited, there's not that many recruits. You gotta and then you gotta accept. If you accept as a parent the athlete that you have, I think you're gonna enjoy.
Be realistic.
You gotta be.
That's-
If you accept your kid's ability, you're gonna
his
enjoy their high.
limitations?
Yeah, just the ability itself.
Yeah.
You're gonna always have. We've seen them in basketball. Man, that kid's above everybody
Yeah.
else. And if we as parents, because we're all there, we as parents accept that, it's a lot easier to transition to massage and not probably massage that problem. But it's hard.
So
It's
a
super
big
hard.
part of it for a lot of parents is that they want to keep their kids active. You know, instead of being at home, being on their computer screen, playing their games on whatever it is, the Xbox and all.
Duty.
And so instead of doing that, they put them into the different camps, into their different sports, because idle minds is the devil's workshop. So
Yeah.
they try to keep them busy. But it's when you have these unrealistic expectations where your child is the star and should be starting every game, should be playing every play. That's where people. That's where the toxicity starts to
expectation.
boil. That expectation, that entitlement. So
The entitlement, and then you expect that every kid, if you're that kid's dad or mom's superstar of that kid, when he fails, you can spot that parent within 10,000. You can spot that one parent,
Absolutely.
and you can always the oldest
there-
saying, Bob, you can always spot the coach's son or daughter, right?
There is no quick fix.
There's not a quick
I think
fix. Yeah.
all of you are right, and I think we need to be realistic about sports, and we need to be realistic about when we go
The
to games,
outcomes. Yeah.
and the outcomes, and we need to be realistic. That I just told a parent today no lie to you. Told a parent today who literally asked me, she's like, well, even if I have to move houses so my kid can go play at that school. And I told her, first, you shouldn't be telling me that because that's against UIL rules. You're moving for athletic purposes.
Right.
But second, your kid's a freshman. You let her be a freshman, you know?
Yeah.
Let her be a freshman. You don't know if she's even going to play in 2 years. She might give up the sport. You just don't know. So, you know, be realistic. Your child is probably not going to get a D1 scholarship. And so I think that's what we need to do.
Before we get into the last bite, how many times have you heard of parents holding their kids back for growth?
Every year.
or
All the time.
All the time.
Holding their kids back for growth. I remember one, you know, when I was growing up, that held their son back for growth so they could, or you know, parents, you know.
So he or she could
for
be the top
maturity.
dog.
Yeah. Or moving from one school to the other because they are guaranteed a
Every year.
starting spot.
Every year.
And so yeah.
All the way to
I don't want to end it in a sour note, though, right? So let's a little bit about FIFA. How these people are acting, how, you know, Mexico is bracing Korea, how the Japanese after every game take a bag and pick up the trash out of every stadium.
Don't go that far.
Like-
Chinese Taipei coming with Laredo Pony in the next couple
There
of
you go,
weeks. Hopefully,
yes.
bow to the official, bow to their opponents.
Yeah.
Before they go
I-
to bat, they do the same. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just the amount of respect.
Everybody
these
that
guys
watches
have.
this show, Gene, I'll invite them to go see if Taiwan comes and makes it.
Yeah.
Go watch it. If our kids in high school and all youth would have 75%, not 100%, of their discipline of the game and the respect they have, we would be at another level.
You know, I would like to say this, and one of the things that our state and UIL is doing is we got behind this initiative called the Texas Way, and it's an initiative to increase sportsmanship and reduce incidents with officials, with spectator behavior. And this past, just 2 weeks ago, UISD was named as a district of distinction because we had little to no
Outbursts or incidents.
outbursts or reports like other school districts did.
Great.
Ours decreased.
Congratulations on
Ours
that.
did. We were one of 39 districts in the entire state to get recognized.
Good.
Congratulations.
And so that's just a testament to our awesome coaches and our administrators and our parents that are buying into it, because I have parents that come and say like, hey, look at them, that's not the Texas way. And so I know it's working, and I know our coaches preach it, and our coaches, we're not perfect. We do have incidents and we do have outbursts that happen, but it's good to be recognized, and it just shows that it's a testament
Congratulations.
to our coaching staff.
But let's say this though: anywhere Laredo goes, they're to be contended with, man.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Athletically.
Athletically, we
So
are
sports is
we are a rising
Absolutely.
community
Yeah.
in terms of athletics.
Yeah.
And on that note, nothing makes parents angrier, certainly me, than being hungry. And so we'll be right back with the last bite, our last segment of the night, the last bite, where we'll talk about sports food. Man, what do we eat when we watch sports, when we go to games, concession stands, stadium food? What's there that you really, really like? And we'll be right back. Bubba's 33.
My apologies, guys. My mom is in the hospital, and my sister is the only one that
Life is
it
full of
rings
great
for.
moments, special moments, shared with friends, family, and loved ones. But for some, pain deprives us from fully enjoying these moments. If chronic pain is keeping you from fully enjoying life, there is hope. Hi, I'm Dr. Marta Martinez. At Advanced Spine Pain Solutions, we're dedicated to treating our patients with the most advanced and compassionate care possible. Visit us for an evaluation and let our experienced staff help you get back to living a pain-free life.
We have a 9-acre facility, 200,000 square feet of indoor storage, as well as about 4 to 5 acres of outdoor storage. Pricing is subject to change based on your selection of either indoor or outdoor availability.
Life is full of great moments, special moments, shared with friends, family, and loved ones. But for some, pain deprives us from fully enjoying these moments. If chronic pain is keeping you from fully enjoying life, there is hope. Hi, I'm Dr. Marta Martinez. At Advanced Spine Pain Solutions, we're dedicated to treating our patients with the most advanced and compassionate care possible. Visit us for an evaluation and let our experienced staff help you get back to living a pain-free life.
And we're back. 3 Men and a Mic, our last segment, the last bite. And the question was, where's the best place to get sports food? Stadium food, concession stand, sports bar. What is it that you like? For me, guys, it's always been wings. You got to have wings when you go to a tailgate or go to a sports bar. They don't really have them at concession stands. But absent of that, it's concession stand nachos.
Yeah.
The old big Rico cheese can with chips and jalapenos. That's my favorite.
I believe you can't get away from the nachos, the good chili hot dogs, and all that baseball food. That I'm around baseball. Yeah. You just, I mean, you see all the hamburgers and wings. Mm-hmm. I believe they hit up all. And then I've seen in all these baseball stadiums and the Astros where I go and see baseball. Man, they have these desserts now. They make these big waffles and. But you see all these restaurants in those big stadiums, so you can. I mean, they go above and beyond.
I agree. I agree with both of you. Our concession stands, the nachos, but I would invite every one of you to go to our Week 11 game, football game, which is United versus Alexander and Johnson versus United South, and watch the tailgates. And when the tailgates,
I'm one of those sponsors.
Oh my gosh!
Go above and beyond.
It's just like who's going to top the other side? You know, one year somebody will have a burgers, and then the next year somebody will have fajita tacos. Then the next year they'll come back with some street tacos, and then it's just like, and then of course they send plates to the AD's office to sample, which is amazing. You know, but
which you're not going to turn down.
Oh, never. It's an insult. You can't. You can't turn it down. That's an insult.
That's a good from sports.
That's a good from sports.
That's a good thing from sports.
Your favorite?
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
The hot dog.
Wait a minute. We got to talk about the hot dog deal because there's hot dogs. Chicago people eat hot dogs in an entirely different way.
Yeah.
Folks in New York eat it a different way. People in Texas eat it. How do you like your hot dog?
Me, if it's like a concession stand hot dog, it's mustard and reddish.
And that's it.
That's it.
No
now,
chili,
if I'm making
no
it
cheese.
at home, we wrap it in bacon.
Oh, good.
Little
mayonnaise.
onion, mayonnaise.
All that Mexican stuff.
Yeah. But if at the stadium, it's just reddish.
Relish and mustard and ketchup. That's it.
Yeah. I like a good hot dog, man. And unfortunately, I will say the bad is that at some of the UISD events that I've been to at the SAC, you know, the concession stands, they don't really serve hot dogs. They'll serve Chick-fil-A's, they'll serve nachos.
Pizza.
They serve these Takis with cheese and you know, it might be good to a lot of people, but I like it. Just
that's a kid's food.
Simple dog. Just a hot dog. You know, I was at a golf course the other day and I showed up and the lady, the cart lady had a little hot dog, warmer there, and there were just a little bit of mustard, some chili on it.
A dog at the turn.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good deal.
We're talking about big stadiums, though. They have gone hog wild. AT&T Center in Dallas, Frost Center here in San Antonio, Houston Astro Reliant. The restaurants that are in there, the food that's being served. I mean, it's nothing like what we grew up with.
No.
I mean, a cold beer and a slice of pizza or a hot dog.
That was great. That was the menu. That was the menu. Now you have everything.
Loaded baked potatoes.
Yeah.
And,
you have barbecue.
Peanuts.
Peanuts.
Peanuts. A good beer and a peanuts.
Good beer and a
get you
peanut.
through.
That's it.
Popcorn.
Now it's
Popcorn.
Taco Palenque.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
How many of us would get a hot dog, popcorn, and a pickle?
Sal's
That's
Pizza,
it.
man.
Hey,
Sal's Pizza. Pickle.
Hey,
We're not talking
I
about
still remember Shakey's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was go watch a film after your baseball game, softball game, whatever you're playing.
A chili dog, mustard and relish from Best Dad 9563. Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
That's how you should have a hot dog. I mean, the guys in Chicago put peppers and onions
Yeah,
and
no, I don't do that.
all sorts of other stuff on
I know
there.
we send all our teams to, when we have host these tournaments at Playmore.
Oh.
They have they do their wings and their pizza and stuff like this. This is from Bubba's, and I'm
Shout
sure
out to
there's
Bubba's. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
shout
Thank you to
out to-
Bubba's
thank you to
33.
Bubba's.
So, or like
Western-
when you were getting out of wherever you were at in Nuevo Laredo at 1:00 in the morning, and they had that little hot dog stand,
Oh, the street
Yeah.
vendor.
the street
Oh,
vendor
yeah.
with bacon and mayonnaise.
You
and
know,
all
I went to the baseball classic, and they had those carts as soon as you walked out of that
Stadium.
Dakin Stadium. And let me tell you what, there was a line that you could not. You were
Exactly.
going to wait
Yeah.
45 minutes to get one.
Yeah.
But guess what? You were going to wait.
Yeah.
So it's still out there.
Well, shout out to Bubba's 33. They're right across
you.
from the parking lot there at where the
Home
Roadhouse
Depot
is,
is,
right?
Chili's,
Where Home Depot is, what used to be
Hooters.
Hooters.
Hooters, the place we used to go wings for, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the only reason we go to Hooters for the wings, right? Bubba's 33, thank you. Patriot Burger. If you order the Patriot Burger from Bubba's 33, $1 out of the profits from this burger go to a veteran organization. So
Awesome.
get out to
Good deal.
Bubba's 33. Come back and get out there and have some pizza, wings, burgers. It's a great environment out there. If you haven't been, it's a good place to go.
I went. Their lasagna is delicious.
The lasagna.
Lasagna is very good.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Got to try that one. That's new on the menu.
Yeah.
Cold beer,
I went
Very
for a
cool.
cold
good
beer.
service.
Very cool. It was
Bubba's
great.
They
33.
have a
Yeah,
great
that's-
steak. The ribeye is amazing. The ribeye is
Really?
good. Absolutely, yes.
There
And
you
the
go.
service is very good.
Well, I'm glad they're in town.
Yeah.
Glad that they're in town and hope they're successful. And we're going to continue to give them a shout out throughout the week. Folks, come back to us, watch the show, continue to send in your questions. I'm sure that we can get Bobby and Richard to answer those questions throughout the week as we get ready for our next show. We still don't know what that hot topic is because there's things cooking at the 3 Men and a Mic, and we'll have something going on, I'm sure. If it's not the issues about the city, it's going to be issues somewhere, but we'll have another hot topic soon. Thank you for joining us. Bobby, thank you for your time with us.
Thank you,
Appreciate it. Thank
No,
you.
thank you all for the invite.
Praying for your
Thanks.
mom. Hope she
Thank
gets
you.
better.
Thank
I
you.
know
Appreciate it.
she's been ill. And
Thank you so much.
Richard, wishing you all the success of the new pony tournament coming up. World Series, July 31st through the 3rd at the Buena Vista Sports Complex. Teams from Asia Pacific, the Caribbean, Mexico, and Europe will be here. I think some teams have already made it. Belgium, France.
France for the 12U, Belgium and the 18U.
Yep, and two teams
Puerto
from
Rico.
Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. for the
Mexico already
12U.
qualified.
And then all four corners of the U.S. will send a team to Laredo, where the host teams, the All-Star teams, will play them. And those will be live streamed by Liquid Studio Group and South Texas Sports. We'll be live streaming those, and it's going to be a great event. Come out and see the games. Do that, and continue to watch 3 Men and a Mic. We'll have another hot topic next in 2 weeks, Tuesdays, 8 o'clock on YouTube. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Good night.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have at it.
Yeah, bro.
So ya arreglaron, brother, todos los stipends y ya todo.
No, that's tomorrow.
So, oye,
So this technically will be your last meal.
so,
Drop something? Are you sure? Oh, yes. Yeah. I don't know. I will toss you my phone.
What do you want me to do with it?
Let's hold it. I'm just gonna take some pictures. Camera up and running. Just make sure it's nice and clean on the back end. If it's a little dirty.